Welcome to the Paws Forever training module on bringing home your new foster dog. Your first responsibility as a foster is, of course, to take care of the dog. This includes both basic care, such as proper housing, food, water, and social interaction, as well as providing for their medical and behavioral needs as directed. You may be asked to bring your foster dog to the veterinarian for planned visits. The other hugely important part of your job is to help your foster animal find their forever home. You can do this by bringing them to Paws Forever for a meet and greet with potential adopters, going to events or simply out on walks with the dog, and talking to your friends, neighbors, coworkers, or anyone who will listen about your amazing foster dog, both in person and on social media. Staff should provide you with guidance on the diet of each individual animal you take home. We will also provide you with the food itself, and you can come pick up more as you need it. Unless they have a special diet for medical reasons, you are welcome to buy your own food for your foster pet if you prefer, and simply follow the feeding guidelines per weight on the bag. Make sure you know if your dog has any particular allergies or sensitivities, and be aware that some human foods and ingredients can be poisonous to dogs, and avoid them. All our dogs are on 2 monthly preventatives, one for fleas and ticks and one for heartworm. The flea and tick medication is either a pill or an ointment, and the heartworm preventative will be a pill. We will provide you with both the medications and the schedule on which you will need to administer them. Most dogs will eat a pill wrapped in a tasty treat or delivered in a spoon of peanut butter. Your dog may also be due for vaccines or vet appointments while you have them, so keep an eye out for upcoming appointment dates. Finally, if your individual dog needs any other medicines or medical care, we will provide you with any materials and instructions you'll need. You should monitor the dog's overall health and let staff know if you notice any activity level or appetite changes or unexpected weight loss or gain, as well as any injuries or anything else out of the ordinary you notice, like lumps or abnormal behavior. Contact staff with any questions who can provide guidance or set up a vet appointment for these things as necessary. Puppy proofing is important at any age to keep your dog safe and your house protected. Here are some of the most common household dangers to dogs. Many house plants can be poisonous, so check online to make sure any plants you have are safe, or move them all out of reach of any furry house guests. Medications and cleaning supplies should be secured in a cabinet or drawer that the dog can't get into. Antifreeze is extremely dangerous because it typically has a sweet aroma that might attract an animal to it, but eating it can be deadly, so keep any locked away and look out for spills in the garage. As most people know, chocolate is unsafe for dogs, especially dark chocolate or cocoa powder. The caffeine in chocolate is one of the ingredients that is toxic to dogs, so watch out for anything caffeinated for that matter. Dogs also should not have alcohol, so call Paws Forever and the vet right away if they accidentally ingest some. Xylitol is a lesser-known danger. It is an ingredient common in gum or mints that's poisonous to dogs, so keep your purse high up or put away if you have some in there. Last but not least, a lot of animals think it's fun to chew on cords, a habit that is as risky as it is annoying. Not only will you lose lots of headphones and phone chargers this way, but if plugged in, these are an electrocution risk, and many cords are attached to something heavy, like a lamp, that could be pulled down, causing injury or damage. Though we have tried to include the most common and dangerous items, this is not a complete list, so please feel free to do some further research and check out the ASPCA's list of poisonous items on their website. For anything you don't want the dog to get into, be it poisons or simply your favorite pair of slippers, the best strategy is prevention. Keep valuable and extra tempting items, like shoes, as well as all of these dangerous items in closets, cupboards, or drawers, on a high shelf, or otherwise entirely out of your dog's reach. Don't forget that if your house setup isn't ideal for this, say if you have an open floor plan or no closets, you can make use of baby gates and crates to keep the dog confined when they can't be supervised, to keep them and your items safe. You may already be familiar with the concept of trigger stacking if you have completed the field trip training module, and it very much applies to bringing a new animal home. The idea of trigger stacking is that dogs can only appropriately cope with so much stress at once. Our takeaway from this idea should be to minimize as many stressors as possible so that our dogs can continue to successfully cope, rather than overwhelming them and having them act in ways we don't want. This is highly relevant to bringing home a shelter animal because all the newness and change of the transition will be a baseline stressor until they have had time to adjust. This means that when they are new to your home, they have less reserve to deal with additional stressors because they are already using a lot of mental energy and relatively stressed simply by coping with their new environment. That is why it is best to minimize things like unnecessary introductions and outings for the first couple of weeks. If, for instance, you have friends or family members who are excited to meet your dog or your new dog, and we hope you do, it is best to let the dog settle in and get to know you and your household first for at least a week and preferably 2 before having guests over. Similarly, any introductions to other animals that can wait should, because they are much more likely to go well when the dog isn't already stressed about all of the change and is feeling more confident and calm overall. We call this the adjustment period. Let's talk a little bit more about why your dog needs an adjustment period and how to best implement one. It is easy to forget from the human perspective that a move can be hard on dogs because we know that they have just hit the jackpot. Out of the shelter and into the home is a wonderful thing. But try to remember that the dog does not know why this change is happening or for how long they're going to be there. Since Paws Forever takes all of our dogs from surrounding shelters, at the very least, each of our dogs has gone from one home to a shelter to another shelter, now to your home, sometimes within a very short period of time. That's a lot of change, and it's especially scary when they have no control over where they go, nor understanding of why or how long they'll stay there. So, we are thrilled that they are in your home, and once they have had some time to feel safe there, they will be too. But it is normal for them to be overwhelmed by all of the new smells, sounds, and sights of a new place at first, and unsure of their new surroundings. Now that you know why they might be dealing with stress, how can you help? When in doubt, just remember to take things slow. It is better to do shorter, more frequent walks around your neighborhood, staying relatively close to home at first. Avoid any crowded public places and don't have them meet new dogs outside of your immediate household for a little while. Stress is not always a bad thing. Your new dog is probably very excited to be in the house and with you, enjoying all the attention and fun, but they may not know how to take breaks, so make time and space for rest and relaxation. Think of a little kid who needs nap time. It's up to you as the caregiver to ensure your dog gets plenty of downtime. A crate, dog bed, or safe room are all good options as a designated calm space for your dog to settle in from time to time. Lastly, just remember to be patient, both with the dog and yourself. Keep in mind that you are both adjusting to a lot. The dog might not know the rules of the house yet, and you will still be learning about having this new family member of a different species, so cut yourself and the dog a lot of slack while you're both still learning. Trigger stacking applies to humans too, so don't forget to give yourself downtime and the time and space to adjust. Just like the dog, it is 100% normal for you to feel overwhelmed at first. It doesn't happen overnight, but before you know it, you'll all have settled into a new normal. If you have other pets or children in your home, we have handouts on how to best handle each of those introductions and tips for monitoring interactions between the new dog and the existing family members. You should receive these before or at the time of taking the Paws Forever dog home, and staff will be happy to go over best practices with you and answer any questions you have at that time. Being in a foster home is the perfect time for a shelter dog to learn life skills and house manners that they can take with them into their forever home. One of the greatest gifts you can give to your foster dog is a foundation of good training, so that they are more likely to get adopted sooner as well as do better in their new home. Not to mention, training should build cooperation and communication skills between the two of you, which will help with your bond and make the dog more pleasant for you to live with as well. Paws Forever has lots of training resources available to you. There are modules for both crate and potty training to help you with those. As a foster, you are also eligible to take family dog classes at our training center at no charge as space allows. These classes are designed to teach basic manners and life skills that will be useful to you and your foster dog. Finally, if you are having specific issues or questions that none of those answer, you can always reach out to the foster coordinator for help, who will be happy to provide you with the resources and support you need. Paws Forever condones only humane and evidence-based teaching methods, meaning we do not allow any of our animals to be trained using fear, pain, or other punishment techniques. This includes but is not limited to prong, pinch, or electronic collars. Good training should enhance your relationship with your dog, teaching you both how to better communicate and cooperate with one another. Harsh and frightening methods are not only proven to be ineffective long-term, but also damage the bond and trust it is so important to build. The goal for all of our animals, in or out of foster care, is to match them to an appropriate adoptive home where they can live out the rest of their lives being loved and cared for. With each animal we place into a forever home, not only do we hope to give that animal their happy ending and complete a family, but also each adoption opens one more space for us to help another animal. For all of these reasons, helping your foster pet find their forever home is one of the most important things you can do as a foster parent, so we want to encourage you to promote them as much as possible. There are many ways you can both promote your foster yourself and help us to better match them to adopters as well. You can post about them on social media or provide Paws Forever staff with photos, videos, or fun facts you learn about your animal that we can share. Brag about your adorable animal in person to friends, family, co-workers, or anyone who will listen. As appropriate, you can bring your foster out and about with a cute bandana or harness to indicate that they are adoptable, just around the neighborhood or to special adoption events. We will notify active fosters when adoption events are coming up, so you can plan to attend when one is a good fit for you and your foster. Finally, simply having the pet in a home provides a treasure trove of information about how they do in the home that we would not otherwise have, so please keep us informed of all of their challenges and triumphs of household living, so that we can best support you and improve our matchmaking to an adoptive home that will be the right fit for them. As a reminder, do make sure that you stay within the guidelines of our social media policy, which you will sign at the same time as your foster contract and can access on Volgistics should you wish to refer back to it. The foster coordinator will be your main point of contact for all your everyday questions, which can be sent by email. While all pre-authorized vet care will be paid for by Paws Forever, we cannot guarantee reimbursement for vet visits made without prior approval, so make sure to go through staff for all medical questions. In case of an emergency, you can follow down the list of contacts on the emergency contact list provided to you until you reach someone. Typically, you should begin by calling the foster coordinator, then the adoption center, and finally the executive director. To help determine the best course of action, you may be asked about the animal's appetite, energy level, or eliminations. Having this information on hand will help staff to guide you from there. Anytime you see any of the following, consider it an emergency: extreme diarrhea or diarrhea lasting more than 2 days, vomiting more than once in 24 hours, any acute injury or trauma, or if the animal is actively bleeding, not breathing normally, or displaying any neurological symptoms such as seizures, difficulty moving, or confusion. There should always be someone on call for emergencies so that they can advise you. Thank you for watching. We hope you found it helpful. You are one step closer to bringing home your first foster dog. Don't forget to complete the quick quiz on bringing home foster dog to complete the module.